Okay, guys, we're on to document E, and these are more laws from Hammurabi's Code from 1754 BCE. So the first law, 196. Remember, there are 282. If a man has knocked out the eye of a free man, his eye shall be knocked out. Well, eye for an eye. That's where it comes from. You'd have to think that during Hammurabi's time, if we put ourselves back in that time frame, having your vision will be pretty important. It is today too, but maybe even more so. I mean, now we have a little more accommodations for people that may have some vision trouble, but just keeping that in mind, just thinking back to the time. Law 199. If he has knocked out the eye of a slave, he shall pay half his value. Okay, so pay half his value to the person who owns the slave. In Law 209, if a man strikes the daughter of a free man and causes her to lose the fruit of her womb, he shall pay 10 shekels of silver. Law 213, if he has struck the slave girl of a free man and causes her to lose the fruit of her womb, he shall pay 2 shekels of silver. So we can see straight away that there's a discrepancy there in the punishments for free versus slave in both those situations. In 215, if a surgeon has operated with a bronze lancet on the body of a free man and saves the man's life, he shall receive 10 shekels of silver. Okay. Law 218, if a surgeon has operated with a bronze lancet on a free man for a serious injury and has caused his death, his hands shall be cut off. Whew. Again, I mean, just pretty straightforward and pretty harsh. I don't know. Maybe you don't think they're harsh. I shouldn't say that. Maybe you don't think they're harsh. Okay, so to the questions for document E. Examine laws 196 and 199. How do you think Hammurabi would justify the different punishments for the same crime? Slave versus free. Well, in Hammurabi's time, there was a layer. The free man was worth more, valued more, higher level. That's the way it was. And the slave was down below. Now, you could say that compared to other societies, at least the slaves had some kind of punishment. There was a punishment for the slave as well. Other places, they may have just been thrown away, thrown to the side. But there's some kind of penalty that had to do with the slaves, but it certainly was not fair. And that's because there was just that ranking. Remember the triangle that we did on our mind maps? Free man is definitely higher than a slave. And number 2, what is the meaning of fruit of her womb? That means an unborn baby, if you didn't know that term. How could Hammurabi argue that laws 215 and 218 were just? So those are the ones that talk about, let's just go back right here. 2 right here. So if a surgeon does well and he saves someone, he has 10 shekels. If a surgeon does bad and the person dies, hands get cut off. How can he justify that? Well, you could argue, or you could think of course he should get compensated if he does well, right? The surgeon does well, we probably all agree he should get compensated. But if the surgeon goes around making mistake after mistake after mistake and death, now the empire is losing free men who are possibly leaders in the community. He is almost a killer is going around. If he doesn't know what he's doing, then it can cause problems within the community, and he can be losing people that are of value to the community. From the surgeon's point of view, how is he supposed to learn and do things? Maybe he thinks he's doing well. Maybe the last time that thing worked, and this time that thing didn't work. So maybe there are no surgeons, because who wants to take the risk of chop your hands off? So different perspectives, right? This is the debate. This may be where you want to pause and have a little conversation with people near you. Maybe not, but it certainly is interesting to think about those 2 different perspectives. Number 4, how could you use these laws about personal injury to argue that Hammurabi's code was not just? This is where you, again, should be brainstorming with people around you, with your class. You might just consider, when you're thinking about this, because it really goes both ways. So you have to decide, but something to think about. In the epilogue, it says, so the strong may not injure the weak. Therefore, shouldn't the slave girl and the free girl be treated equally? I mean, that could be something about not being just. Shouldn't eyeballs be compensated the exact same way? I don't know. If you're a slave, maybe you just don't get that right. That's something for you to debate. And then number 5, is justice absolute? That is Is a just punishment in 1800 BCE also a just punishment today? Explain. Could you take the exact same laws from then and apply them today and everything is fine? Well, if it was bad then, why is it not bad now? If it's bad now, why wouldn't it be bad then? That seems pretty easy, but when you think it through a little bit more, that may become more difficult. So if you haven't already taken the time to debate this out with some people and think it through, maybe you could do so now. This is the fun part of this class that we don't get to do because you're not here with us, but we'd like to have a conversation with you and have different viewpoints on this. Why wouldn't the same thing be bad then as bad now? That seems undebatable, but a couple things to think about. In different times and different places, values change, and therefore justice changes. The penalty for stealing water in a desert is different from stealing water near a fresh lake river or freshwater lake, right? So if you steal water in a desert, maybe a harsher consequence than if you steal water near a lake that provides it constantly. A stealing is stealing. I don't know. The harm done by the crime is very different. In the example of polygamy, in some societies, polygamy, which means having more than one wife, is a good thing because it allows for the women to have extra support. It allows for extra security. It allows, in a harsh environment, a harsh place of living, people to have more resources. In other societies, it's looked down upon and even illegal and not allowed and not a good idea. And it's actually detrimental to the society that there are multiple wives. So this is for you guys to debate. There is no right or wrong answer. There is not anything that you had to have down for this. This is you thinking it through and talking about it and hearing different perspectives. This is the fun part of taking in other ideas. Okay, boys and girls, that wraps up all the documents. So today, you have to submit all the documents. Like we said from the very first day of starting this, today is the day. You submit your documents today. You make sure everything's perfect, everything's answered in Google Classroom. You submit all the answers today, please, all the documents today. And then you're going to be able to use these to write your CER starting today or tomorrow, whatever we decide as time goes on. Okay, boys and girls, thanks for sticking with me. I hope you had some really interesting debates and talks about this because this is the fun part of social studies, hearing other people's ideas and taking it in. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.